Hi, I'm Max Rodriguez, founder of the Harlem Book Fair, and today we are speaking with Tammy Hopson, poet Tammy Hopson, who is the author of a recent book, Vintage Black. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, we are including you in New Voices in our New Voices section, and those are writers whose work we are familiar with, have looked at, have listened to, and we think that more people should know your work. So thank you for joining us. We have a little history, behind our meeting here today. So again, thank you for your flexibility and your willingness. Tell us about Vintage Black.
Well, Vintage Black is actually my third book of poetry, and it's the third in a series of books about Black love. And so I'm very excited about it because all of the photographs in the book are real and actual couples. They're not models. They were donated photographs by some of my readers. So it's really, really exciting.
In our conversation, you called yourself, correct me, a hopeless romantic poet. I love that, I do. So tell me about your poetry. I know that there are photographs and there are couples, and so that brings you to this.
So as a young adult,
particular type of poetry.
As a young adult, I fell in love with poetry through a fabulous English teacher who introduced me to the beautiful works of Langston Hughes, and became fascinated by poetry and sort of found my voice. I was always very quiet, very shy, and began to develop a love from reading early on through grammar school, through high school, and continued to write through college. And then when I became happy enough to have an opportunity to write for someone, that first love, that first romance, that's when I became that hopeless romantic.
That's very good. And I noticed that you write under Sefa Noir. That's an interesting name. Can you give us a little bit about the name?
Well, that first love that I had, instead of calling me baby or sweetheart or something, he decided that he was going to give me his own nickname. And so Safa is the Turkish word for beautiful or captivating. And he felt that to look at me across the table was a little captivating, and that I was beautiful. And he wanted to find something different to call me than someone else. So when I decided to write a book, I said, well, you know what? I think that more describes me as a writer than my given name. So I decided to write under that name.
And how many poems of that relationship will we find in your book?
In this book, about 3 or 4. In the first book, all of those poems are from that relationship, all of them. So.
Is that a kind of book that I have to sort of have a fan with me while I read it?
I think it's the kind of book you might need a fan, you might need a box of tissues. It also might be some laughter involved in it too, because all of those were included in the memories that I decided to write about.
Very nice. Can you share a poem with us?
I certainly can. In Vintage Black, I have the poem called To Be. I'm a writer rather than a speaker. I'm a believer in all things possible, even if I don't see it for myself. I enjoy loving just for the sake of loving. My definition of pleasure is tangled and obscure, but my greatest joy is derived from a sense of security. When I'm not secure, my habits and my goals waver. When confidence begins to wane, I feel lost and unimportant. Admittedly, I am uniquely complicated, but my heart and my dedication outweigh my chaos. To understand me requires only simplistic thoughts, and often the understanding never arrives amid the confusion and complexities of human beings. My personal truth is rooted in childhood pain and adulthood confusion. It is Sefa that I long to be daily, an unconventional pleasure that caters to your mental and physical sexuality. As I lay myself at your feet and leave my mind wide open for your inspection, I'm intense with excitement. My flesh tingles at the very thought of you, and I thirst and hunger to be your satisfaction. So that's just a short clip out of Vintage Black, yours.
That's very nice. That's very nice. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my fan, okay?
Thank you.
That's very good, and that's why we thought that more people should know your work, because poetry is sometimes inaccessible, at least for the neophyte, right? Those who are new to poetry, but you speak from the heart, and it's heard and it's received. So thank you for that. Tell us about your other titles. You have 2 other books, yes?
Two other books. The first in the series is called Drops in Black Sand. That book is actually a collection of love letters, actual love letters that I personally wrote and kept over the years, because I kept everything in journals and decided to put pen to paper. I think the reason why it's unique is because of the photographs. Every couple, every person in the book, it looks like me. They're African Americans, and they're all beautiful, and they're beautiful people in love. Second, I'm sorry.
No, please. That's what I was going to ask you.
The second book is Black Reverence. That book is big and bold and in color, and the thought idea behind Black Reverence was that we have these moments of single lines where we say beautiful one-line sentences to someone that may captivate us. If you think about meeting someone by chance, and you just might lean over and say, "I think you're gorgeous," or something like that to catch someone's attention. And all the poetry in that book are written just that way. Short lines of beautiful sentences with gorgeous pictures of beautiful Black people falling in love. And then we come to Vintage Black. And as I mentioned earlier, Vintage Black is all poetry and all actual African-American couples through different periods. I have couples in the book as early as the 1700s, some from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even my own parents are in the book, who are still together to this day after 60 years of marriage. And
Wow.
they're in there when they're 17 and in love, and it's a great photo. And so that's why I'm really, really proud of this book, because they're real people.
That's very nice. So it sounds like it's a book that that can be read on the beach, or before one it ends one's day. Or it might even be a book that one's partner might read to one while one is taking a shower. It can go either way. I like this.
It
I
can
like
go
this.
either way.
Good.
And I think it makes a
That's
great
good.
gift. If you're not great with words, let my words do the talking for you, and pick up a copy of Vintage Black, that kind of thing.
And where can the books be found, Tammy?
The books are available on Amazon, and they're also available from AJB Publishing.
Okay, very good. Any parting words that you'd like to share with our readers, or any forthcoming, any poems that you're working on for future publication?
I'm actually working on completing the series. There's 2 more books to come in the series. And the next one is Sculpted in Black, which will be all poetry dedicated to Black men and the wonderful people that they are in our lives. And the final book will be Black Enthroned, which is dedicated to my beautiful Black sisters.
And this is why we need voices like yours, because you hold us in our space of knowing, and that is so affirming for us. So thank you so much, Tammy, for the work that you do, and thank you for joining us in this closing day of the Harlem Book Fair. I know that we will be hearing more from you, certainly through our platform. We look forward to a continued conversation.
Thank you so much.
Again,
Thank you for
thank you so
having
much.
me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tammy. I'm Max Rodriguez with the Harlem Book Fair. We've had an opportunity to speak today with Tammy Hopson, author of Vintage Black, a selection, a book of poetry. We hope that you'll follow up on this conversation and run to Amazon and pick up 1 or 3 of those books. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.